All right, and we have started recording. Shalom, Mashbraka. It's the brother, Priest Kalak Raka. I'm here with,
Sayer
Amir,
Shafwat, Shalom.
and
Amir Yasharala, Shalom.
all praises. We over here, we're going to continue with our Genesis breakdown. Going into Genesis, we at Genesis 22 now. 22, we're going to do 22 to 24. I believe we might go on a little more, but we starting a little late today. We'll see how everything work out. We're gonna start Genesis 22. All right, and call it and read it when you get it.
Khan. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 22, from the top.
Mm-hmm.
And it came to pass, after these things, that God did tempt Abraham, and said unto him, Abraham, and he said, Behold, here I am.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, Take now thy son, thine only son, Isaac.
Now I want y'all to pay close attention to that. The way the Most High talks, because it's not going to be the first time it's not going to be the last time he says this to Abraham. He says, "Take thine son, thine only son, Isaac." Now, is Isaac physically his only son? No. Who's his son?
No.
We got Ishmael already. So that
Right.
shows this right here is showing that nobody else matters, nobody else counts. The Most High is not thinking about Ishmael. Ishmael was never counted as the seed of Abraham. So no other nation, it was a physical lineage that the Most High was always dealing with. He said Isaac is his only son. That's the only one he ever considered his son. And now to Isaac came Jacob. We already know the Most High wasn't dealing with Esau. So it don't matter if they from the seed of Abraham. If they not from the lineage of Isaac and Jacob, they're not considered the seed of Abraham. So every time he talks in the future about the seed of Abraham and so on and so forth, and our father Abraham, we know what lineage that comes from. Because Isaac is the only one that mattered. Right? So we go on. He said, read that again, verse 2.
And he said,
Salakia, how's the sound over here? Is it echoey or something?
It's not bad. It's not bad. It's not bad.
Okay, I just moved this kind of open area right now, so I was wondering.
It is kind of, but it's not bad. It's not bad.
All right, but yeah, you go ahead.
And he said, Take now thy son, thy only son, Isaac, whom thou lovest, and get thee into the land of Moriah, and offer him there for a burnt offering upon one of the mountains which I will tell thee of.
Now, the Most High already promised Abraham that Isaac is going to be the one that gets the promises. He already promised him that. We already seen that. You feel what I'm saying? So now he's telling Abraham to sacrifice his child. So we know Most High is not going to do that. He telling you something. He's not going to go back on his promise. Abraham is showing the faith that Abraham had by even listening to the Most High. He like, yo, hold on, you told me this is going to be the one. Now you telling me to sacrifice him. You know what I mean? Like, all right. And he going ahead and do it, right? Read on.
And Abraham rose up early in the morning and saddled his ass and took 2 of his young men with him, and Isaac his son, and clave the wood for the burnt offering, and rose up and went unto the place of which God had told him. Then on the 3rd day, Abraham lifted up his eyes and saw the place afar off. And Abraham said unto his young men, Abide ye here with the ass, and I and the lad will go yonder and worship, and come again to you.
Right. So Abraham not telling anybody else what's going on. I guess he's seeing it kind of weird and all that still. But he's telling these people, yo, stay far off, all the people that came with him. Because you remember, Abraham had a lot of servants. So he's saying, yo, y'all stay here. Me and my son going to go up and worship the Most High. Right? But read on.
And Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering and laid it upon Isaac his son. And he took the fire in his hand and a knife, and they went both of them together. And Isaac spake unto Abraham his father, and said, My father. And he said, Here am I, my son. And he said, Behold, the fire and the wood, but where is the lamb for a burnt offering?
And also, we gotta keep in mind too, like every little thing in here counts. Everything you see and everything you read in here counts. The simple fact that he's saying, "Where's the lamb for the burnt offering?" You feel what I'm saying? Showing they already knew certain things that they had to be sacrificing in the first place. I mean, he's specific. Where's the lamb? You know what I mean? And but Abraham was like, yo, the Most High can provide his burnt offering, right? But read on.
And Abraham said, "My son, God will provide himself a lamb for a burnt offering."
Mm-hmm.
So they went both of them together.
Kind of read on.
And they came to the place which God had told him of. And Abraham built an altar there and laid the wood in order.
Oh, you know what? My fault. I'm supposed to have been sharing this screen. Let's see. I don't think there's anything we're gonna really need to get into deeply into the Hebrew with this, but just in case, so everybody could follow along. Kai, you can see my screen, right?
Con.
All right. Okay, and we're down to
Verse 9.
verse 9. Con. All right.
And they came to the place which God had told him of. And Abraham built an altar there, and laid the wood in order, and bound Isaac his son, and laid him on the altar upon the wood.
Mm-hmm.
And Abraham stretched forth his hand, and took the knife to slay his son.
All right.
And the angel of the Lord called unto him out of heaven, and said, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, Here am I.
So Abraham was fully ready to sacrifice his son to the Most High. He's like, yo, whatever the Most High say, that I'll do. You feel what I'm saying? And we don't see Isaac fighting his son right now. You know what I mean? So Abraham laid him on the altar, built the altar, laid him on. It was getting ready to sacrifice his son, and the angel stopped him. All right, read on.
And he said, Lay not thy hand upon the lad, neither do thou anything unto him. For now I know that thou fearest God.
Yeah, so this is a little test. See, okay, though, this is who I promised you. I promised to give you this child from Sarah in her old age. I promised that this is going to be, your chosen. And now I'm telling you, take him away. Let me see if you're going to listen to me. All right, read on.
Seeing thou hast not withheld thy son, thine only son from me.
Again, thine only son from me.
Thine only son.
You know what I mean? So read on.
And Abraham lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, behind him a ram caught in a thicket by his horns.
So the Most High provided his burnt offering. A ram is a male sheep. You know what I'm saying? A lamb is a baby sheep, a young sheep. Right? But read on.
And Abraham went and took the ram and offered him up for a burnt offering in the stead of his son.
Mm-hmm.
And Abraham called the name of that place Jehovah Jireh, as it is said to this day, in the mount of the Lord it shall be seen.
Mm-hmm.
And the angel of the Lord called unto Abraham out of heaven the second time, and said, By myself have I sworn, saith the Lord, for because thou hast done this thing, and hast not withheld thy son.
So we see the Most High always constantly sending these angels as speaking for him. You know what I mean? Speaking for him, and they'll speak as if the Most High, because the Most High put his word in their mouth. So it's the angel of the Most High that came. Most of the time, the majority of the time, who is called the angel of the Most High would be Yahushua. You feel what I'm saying? But the angel of the Most High came and said, saith by myself have I sworn, speaking as the Most High, saying the Most High by himself has sworn. I mean, for because thou hast done this thing and hast not withheld thy son, thine only, well, Slaki, I'm probably jumping the gun a little something. Go
I think
ahead.
that was it.
Okay, read on.
And has not withheld thy son, thine only son, that in blessing I will bless thee, and multiplying I will multiply thy seed as the stars of the heaven.
And he said, I'll multiply thy seed. This is singular, as the stars of heaven. So who's that seed he's talking about?
Isaac.
Isaac. Khan. That got nothing to do with Ishmael.
And
Even
it's
though the
also
Most High said he was going to multiply Ishmael, he specifically said that this has nothing to do with Ishmael. You was about to say something, Noah?
right. Does this also show that Isaac himself is righteous? Because he actually doesn't. It doesn't say anything about him fighting or resisting. Like he looks around and he sees ain't no lamb. He's starting to get suspicious. I see that, but like hold up, bro, ain't no lamb around this joint. But still, even when it comes time to bound him, he actually doesn't resist, nor does he cry out.
Right. Isaac is a righteous man. Isaac was always righteous. Isaac, there's nowhere we see him Isaac committing any type of sin. You know what I'm saying? And the scriptures tell us that our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, was all righteous. You know what I mean? But yeah, we could read on.
I will multiply thy seed as the stars of the heaven, and as the sand which is upon the seashore. And thy seed shall possess the gate of his enemies.
So this seed will possess the gate of his enemies. Who the enemies of Israel? Everybody. So we're going to possess these gates in the kingdom, right? But read on.
And in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed.
And again, these scriptures, right? Scriptures like this be throwing people over. You're like, oh, because it is, everybody's supposed to be blessed. But remember, when we read before, what was it? Chapter 17, was it? Actually, no, chapter 12. Chapter 12, it's a condition with that. I'm going to go back to it real quick and read it. Chapter 12, and I'm going to start at verse 2. It says, and I will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee, and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing. Thou shalt be a blessing. It's the same thing. We're going to be a blessing to the nations. And I will bless them that bless thee, and curse them that curse thee, and in thee shall all families of the earth be blessed. Eventually, all families of the earth will be blessed. But there's a contingency in the original blessings. If they bless us, they'll be blessed. If they curse us, they'll be cursed. Have any nation blessed us?
No.
No nation blessed us, right? If we grab real quick, grab Maccabees, First Maccabees 2 and 10. First Maccabees 2 and 10. You call it and read if you got it.
This is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 2, verse 10. What nation hath not had a part in her kingdom and gotten of her spoils?
This is a rhetorical question. What nation? That's letting you know everybody had a part in our downfall. Every nation treated us bad. They still treat us bad to this day. So they all got a punishment and judgment coming to them. But what is the blessing that they all will eventually get? Let's get
they'll be ruled by us.
They're gonna be ruled by us, and we can get Isaiah. Let's get Isaiah chapter. Why is it slipping my mind? Chapter 2. Chapter 2, and we'll start at verse 2. Come.
And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains.
The mountain of the Most High's house, which is the children of Isaac, the Israelites, is going to be established on the top of the mountains. It's going to be established above all other nations, right? Read.
And shall be exalted above the hills, and all nations shall flow unto it.
All the other nations are going to start flowing unto us. They're going to come to us. You know how the scriptures say, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked are in authority, the people mourn. Okay. All nations are mourning right now. But when we come into power and we ruling righteously, the nation is going to start rejoicing. Right, that's how they're gonna be. We're gonna be a blessing to them. They're gonna start flowing into us. Right, read.
And many people shall go and say, come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord.
So they're gonna come, say, yo, let's go to Zion, let's go to the children of Israel, right? Read.
To the house of the God of Jacob.
Uh-huh.
And he will teach us of his ways.
That's how we become a blessing. Because we're gonna actually become that light and start teaching them the Lord's statutes and commandments, and they're gonna be forced to keep them. That's how they're gonna be a blessing. Right. That's how we're gonna be a blessing, right? Read on.
And we will walk in his paths.
Mm-hmm.
For out of Zion shall go forth the law.
For out of Zion shall go forth the law, right? Read.
And the word of the Lord from Jerusalem.
Mm-hmm.
And he shall judge among the nations.
And we will judge among the nations, right? Read.
And shall rebuke many people.
And rebuke many people. So people's gonna get hurt coming into this blessing. You feel what I'm saying? But eventually they all gonna be blessed because they all gonna be following the laws. Said the Lord will go forth out of Zion, right? But keep on reading.
And they shall beat their swords into plowshares,
mm-hmm.
and their spears into pruning hooks.
Mm-hmm.
Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore.
And there's not going to be no more violence among the lands, no more threat of nuclear warfare, and so on and so forth. That's going to be done away with, right? Read on.
O house of Jacob, come ye, and let us walk in the light of the Lord.
Because they're going to be walking in the light of the Lord, following after us, who's already going to be walking in the light of the Lord, right? So that's how we're going to be a blessing. You know what I mean? But that's how all nations of the earth will be blessed, right? Because what? Read on. Actually, Genesis 22:18. Read that again.
Genesis 22:18. And in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because thou hast obeyed my voice.
Because Abraham obeyed his voice. Abraham kept his commandments. Went down to Isaac, same thing. Jacob, same thing to us to this day, right? But read on.
So Abraham returned unto his young men, and they rose up and went together to Beersheba.
Mm-hmm.
And Abraham dwelt at Beersheba.
Right, read on.
And it came to pass after these things that it was told Abraham, saying, Behold, Milcah, she hath also borne children unto thy brother Nahor. Right. So it's talking about Abraham got word that his brother Nahor, and we read about this earlier, his brother Nahor married a woman named Milcah. Now he's letting it be known that he have children from her. Right, read on. Who's his firstborn, and Buz his brother, and Kemuel the father of Aram,
mm-hmm.
and Chesed, and Hazo, and Pildash, and Jidlaph, and Bethuel,
mm-hmm.
and Bethuel begat Rebekah. These 8 Milcah did bear to Nahor, Abraham's brother, and his
Now Rebekah, that was mentioned, huh?
Is this Jacob's mother, Rebekah?
Right.
Okay.
Isaac's wife. Isaac marries his cousin. Right.
But this is important. That's why I stopped for a second. This is important because Rebekah is still from that bloodline, because it's his what is it? His niece or cousin? Right. It's his cousin.
You can say his great. That's Isaac's niece. Isaac's cousin. Abraham's great niece. That's his brother's son's daughter.
Okay, so that's why I stopped and said, because Rebekah, she's still in their bloodline. It's not even just any Israelite woman. Generally, it's not just any Shemite woman. She's actually in his bloodline.
Right. Of course, a Shemite woman, but yeah, from that same lineage, same exact lineage that Abraham came from.
Okay.
Read on.
Verse 24. And his concubine, whose name was Reumah, she bare also Tebah and Gaham and Tahash and Makkah.
Mm-hmm.
And Sarah was 107 and 20 years old.
So Sarah was 107 and 20 years old. Sarah was 127 years old. Not long ago. You got
Still
people
moving
trying
in
to
hips.
take her for a wife.
And listen, considering the class we just watched today with the elder, what position does the concubine play next to the wife? How does the concubine come to her position and she's not a wife?
The concubine was pretty much considered a lesser wife. It mattered in certain occasions. It wasn't no difference at all. Concubine is still a wife. Now, when it came to our laws and how we was doing, the concubine would be anybody that wasn't. When it comes to our laws and our nation, Israel, the concubine would be anybody that's not Israel, and the wife would be Israel. You feel what I'm saying? Now you have concubines that's called wives. You feel what I'm saying? But if you had an Israelite wife, that wife that's of Israel is supposed to be put above that concubine.
So you might favor some chick if she's not your nation, but inside the household, the Israelite woman obviously outranks her in the order of things.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. The Israelite woman is gonna always outrank her. Like for instance, when it came to Sarah and
Hagar, right? Okay.
Hagar, right? Sarah was able to say, "Yo, send that woman away." You know what I mean?
Right.
That was his concubine. He's like, all right, fuck it.
So does that mean right? Judite lady, she's like, you got to get out. But listen, so does that mean right here that she's from another nation, right? This concubine right here, is that what that means?
Say that again.
Does that mean that she's from another nation? This concubine in verse 24 here?
Oh, most likely, yeah. Not of that same lineage.
Okay.
Most likely.
And also, the word concubine.
Yeah, the word concubine. It's just there's times where you'll see women of another nation called a man's wife. A concubine is a wife. You know what I mean? It's considered a lesser wife. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah, we can actually let me look on this right now, see what pulls up. And it's concubine. Concubine, Pamor, I don't know what a Pamor is. Yeah, let me actually pull that word up also. Paramour. Is that correct? Paramour, a lover, especially the illicit partner of a married person. Okay. So I'm guessing they trying to say like a mistress.
Right. They're not really saying whether the other married person is aware of said person or not. Nah.
Give me a sec. Let me see if something else pops up. Concubine related entry. Maybe sought with some appearance of truth and the idea of softness and pleasure. Okay. Yeah, but basically it's saying like a lover outside the wife, which is, basically a lesser wife. That'd be the best way to put it. All right, so where we at right now?
Verse 23.
Okay, you read that. Yeah, you want the next.
Finish verse 24. Verse 24.
Okay.
And his concubine, whose name was Reumah, and bare also Teba and Gaam and Tahash and Makah. Verse 20. Chapter 23. From the top. And Sarah was 107 and 20 years old. Okay. These were the years of the life of Sarah. And Sarah died in Kirjath Arba. The same is Hebron in the land of Canaan. And Abraham came to mourn for Sarah and to weep for her.
Mm-hmm.
And Abraham stood up from before his dead and spake unto the sons of Heth, saying,
The sons of Heth, those are Hittites. Those are sons basically from Canaanites, a certain family of Canaanites, right? But read on.
I am a stranger and a sojourner with you. Give me a possession of a burying place.
Burying
Place with you, that I may bury my dead out of my sight.
Mm-hmm.
And the children of Heth answered Abraham, saying unto him, Hear us, my lord. Thou art a mighty prince among us.
Now you hear the respect that they giving Abraham right here.
So they know who he is.
They know who he is. Everybody know who he is. Everybody know he's not one to be messed with. And I heard the stories was going on with these other nations with Abimelech the king and Sodom and Gomorrah and all this stuff. They done heard all this. You know what I mean? His name rings bells. You feel what I'm saying?
Right. Okay.
They like, yo, you a mighty prince among us, right? Read on.
My lord, thou art a mighty prince among us, and the choice of our
sepulchres.
Mm-hmm. Bury thy dead.
A sepulcher is like it's like it's a place where
it's like a tomb, right?
It's a tomb. Yeah, you go to them. If you go to a cemetery right now, them stuff that look like houses. Those are the sepulchres. Mausoleum. Yeah. Yeah, you put your dead in there and so on and so forth. Back in the days, they used to use caves and you know what I mean, stuff like that. Somewhere to bury the dead, right? But read on.
None of us shall withhold from thee his sepulture,
mm-hmm.
but that thou mayest bury thy dead.
So they was like, yo, listen, you that man. It's an honor for us to take your dead in any of our sepulchres. Like you want to just pick whichever one you want, and you could put your dead in there.
But that thou mayest bury thy dead.
Mm-hmm.
And Abraham stood up and bowed himself to the people of the land, even to the children of Heth.
But Abraham always stayed humble, even though he knew he was above all of them. He always kept himself humble.
And he communed with them, saying, If it be your mind that I should bury my dead out of my sight, I hear me and entreat for me to Ephron, the son of Zohar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's like, yo, listen, this is what I want. Holla at Ephron, the son of Zohar. Let him holla at me, because I want something that he got. Right? Read on.
That he may give me the cave of Mashpelah,
mm-hmm.
which he hath, which is in the end of his field. For as much money as it is worth, he shall give it me for a possession of a burying place amongst you.
Yeah, so I don't want to borrow none of y'all sepulchres. I don't want to borrow none of y'all burying places. I want my own. You know what I mean? And this is the one I want, basically. Right? Read on.
And Ephron dwelt among the children of Heth. And Ephron the Hittite answered Abraham in the audience of the children of Heth.
Mm-hmm.
Even all that went in at the gate of his city, saying, Nay, my lord, hear me. The field give I thee, and the cave that is therein I give it thee. And in the presence of the sons of my people give I it thee. Bury thy dead.
Yeah, I'm in front of all the rest of these Hittites. I'm letting it be known, like, yo, you could take this. It's yours. Right? Read on.
And Abraham bowed down to himself before the people of the land. And he spake unto Ephron in the audience of the people, the land, saying, But if thou wilt give it, I pray thee, hear me. I will give thee money for the field. Take it of me, and I will bury my dead there.
And that's how a man should be. You feel what I'm saying? I don't want no handouts. You feel what I'm saying? Yo, I'll buy this off of you. I want to make sure everybody hear this. I'm buying this off of you. I don't want you to just give it to me.
That was kind of my thing with the garment at Passover. I'm glad Abraham feels the same way.
I feel you. That's a manly thing right there. But even still, it's a little difference because, you know what I mean, Abraham is dealing with these other nations. When it comes to our brothers, our Israelites, that's a whole nother thing. That's your family.
Right, and I also need to learn how to accept help. That's one of my things,
Right.
So I'm just saying that, like, it's nice to know that, like, that's a good way to feel about things.
Right, that's normal. That should be normal. You see somebody that's always taking out handouts, they want handouts all the time. Something wrong with that person, man. You shouldn't feel comfortable just doing that. You know what I mean? And I was like that too. People be so offering me certain things, especially when I was going through it hard. People would offer me stuff. I'm like, nah, I'll be all right. I'm good. And brothers had to pull me aside.
Yeah,
Like, yo, listen, like that's prideful right there. You can't be like that. Like brothers is actually, this is how you start trying to stop our blessings by blessing you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, you go ahead though.
Verse 15.
Mm-hmm.
My Lord, hearken unto me. The land is worth 400 shekels of silver. What is that betwixt me and thee?
So he's like, yo, this place is worth 400 shekels of silver. Like that's nothing to me between us. You know what I mean? Like that's nothing. Don't worry about it. Basically, bury thy dead. Right? We don't
bury therefore thy dead.
Uh-huh.
And Abraham hearkened unto Ephron. And Abraham weighed to Ephron the silver which he had named in the audience of the sons of Heth, 400 shekels of silver, current money with the merchant.
All right, cool. So you said it's 400. All right, boom. Yeah, take that.
And the field of Ephron, which was in Machpelah, which was before Mamre, the field, and the cave which was therein, and all the trees that were in the field, that were in all the borders round about, were made sure unto Abraham for a possession in the presence of the children of Heth. Before all that went in at the gate of his city. And after this, Abraham buried Sarah, his wife, in the cave of the field of Machpelah, before Mamre.
Well,
the name is Hebron in the land of Canaan. And the field and the cave that is therein were made sure unto Abraham for a possession of a burying place by the sons of Heth.
Right.
And they do that. He does this all in the sight of everybody because at the time that is their way of having a receipt, correct?
Con. You could actually physically write receipts, which they was doing at the time also. But you putting this out in front of everybody. They basically putting this out in front of everybody, so nobody can, you know what I mean? He can't come back and say, nah, I ain't get that. I ain't do that. It's that verbal contract.
And Abraham was old and well stricken in age, and the Lord had blessed Abraham in all things. And Abraham said unto his eldest servant of his house, that ruled over all that he had, put, I pray thee, thy hand under my thigh.
That hand under the thigh thing, that was a ancient way of doing like a pinky promise, or like how people spit in their hands. I don't know what people do that.
That's Esau. That's Esau.
Yeah, spit in their hands, shake, or do the blood promises and all that stuff.
Cut your hand,
Israel only do like pinky promises. They'll be like, yeah, that's my word to everything, or something like that. But that's the ancient way of doing it. So this is a promise that you can't break. Right? Read on.
I pray thee, thy hand under my thigh, and I will make thee swear by the Lord, the God of heaven and the God of the earth, and thou shalt not take a wife unto my son of the daughters of the Canaanites, among whom I will dwell.
Right. And that's another thing too, why he didn't probably didn't want them to just give it to him. You know what I mean? Because I mean they Canaan, like you're not supposed to get that close to Canaan anyways. And he knew that. That's a law. And this shows that he knew that law also. You don't take no daughter of the Canaanites. Don't give him, he didn't say nobody else. You just say, you don't give my son no Canaanite. Right? Read on.
Among whom I dwell, but thou shalt go into my country and to my kindred, and take a wife unto my son Isaac.
Yeah, go get a wife from my people. Right? Read on.
And the servant said unto him, peradventure, the woman will not be willing to follow me unto this land. Must I needs bring thy son again unto the land from whence thou camest?
So he asking like, okay, what if she don't want to come? Should I take Isaac over there to go try to get one?
Mm-hmm. And Abraham said unto him, beware thou that thou bring not my son thither again.
Right, so he's like, nah, don't take Isaac out there. Isaac belongs over here. Right, read.
The Lord God of heaven,
pardon.
The Lord God of heaven, which took me from my father's house and from the land of my kindred, and which spake unto me, and that sware unto me, saying, unto thy seed will I give this land. He shall send his angel before thee, and thou shalt take a wife unto my son from thence.
Mm-hmm. So he knew, like he, like I said, the Most High already swore to him that he was going to give Isaac that land. Everything was going to belong to him over there. Right? So he made him promise. He said, "You're the Most High going to send an angel before you to help you out with the situation." Right? But read on.
And if the woman will not be willing to follow thee, then thou shalt be clear from this my oath. Mm-hmm. Only bring not my son thither again.
Right. So yeah, if she don't want to come, then it's all good. You don't got to worry about it. Just make sure you don't take Isaac back over there.
And the servant put his hand under the thigh of Abraham his master, and sware to him concerning that matter. Mm-hmm. And the servant took 10 camels of the camels of his master, and departed, for all the goods of his master were in his hand. And he arose and went to Mesopotamia unto the city of Nahor. Mm-hmm.
Hey, I got a question. Hey, listen. So I know I've read this story a couple times, and I know she's gonna have the veil and everything when she's on the way back. She comes back, and she doesn't hasten to come back either. So what I'm about to ask, she doesn't hasten to come back because her parents wanted her to chill for a little while before she left. She didn't hasten to come back. What I'm asking before we get further in the story is this story a lot like when Christ is talking about the talents, or not the talents? I'm sorry. The women in the oil in their lamps, because when they're late with the oil, when you're the woman late with the oil, they're gonna close the door, and they don't have enough to go around. You got to have your own oil. When she comes back on that camel, he takes her and brings her inside immediately and closes the door.
We're gonna read all that. We about to get into that right now. But as far as is that, I wouldn't say that's the same. Because in all honesty, she could have stayed a little longer, but she chose to come because the servant wanted to come back. But yeah, we're gonna get into all that right now. But I wouldn't actually put that the same as what Yahushua was going into with the 10 virgins. But I mean, you possibly could.
Okay. I was wondering. That's why I asked early before we got there.
That situation was a little different, and that the spirit hopped on them to wife her that quick, because like during that time, people were caught. They would know who they're gonna marry beforehand, usually, before they even marry them. Because we did the.
All right, like if I had a son and you had a daughter, we would kind of plan as soon as they were born. Right, like, so hey, check this out.
Kids, yeah, they know each other. You feel what I'm saying? Or they know who they're gonna marry. They either played as kids or they got to know each other as teenagers or something. They know who they marrying before they get married. Majority of the time, you know what I mean?
Okay. In this case, that was quick. Isaac didn't go with his servant.
Nah.
Right, so she didn't see him or know him.
Yeah, she didn't know him. Abraham left way before them children was born, and she's a grandchild of Nahor. She's not even his child. You feel what I'm saying? Right. Abraham left before Nahor had any children.
And in this case, with the virgins and the lamps, they already know Christ before he gets. That's why they have the oil in the lamp to begin with.
Right.
I see.
All right. But yeah, we can read on.
Verse 11. And he made his camels to kneel down without the city by well for water at the time of evening, even the time that women go out to draw water. Mm-hmm. And he said, O Lord God of my master Abraham, I pray thee, send me good speed this day, and show my kindness unto my master Abraham. And behold, I stand here by the well of water, and the daughters of the men of the city come out to draw water. And let it come to pass that the damsel to whom I shall say, let down thy pitcher, I pray thee, that I may drink. And she shall say, drink, and I will give thy camels drink also. Let the same be she that thou hast appointed for thy servant Isaac, and whereby shall I know that thou hast showed kindness unto my master.
Yeah, now this whole situation is a weird situation. That's why that servant is even feeling like this. He like, all right, I made my master a promise, but he like, yo, for me to even come here and act like that, she don't even see the man. She don't know this man. You know what I mean? Like to get her to come back with me, that's a rare occasion. You know what I'm saying? That's why he's praying like, yo, listen, if this work out, if this is true, this how you want it to be, boom, let it be this way where if I ask for drink, she give me drink and my camels, let her be the one, please. You know what I mean? Right? But read on.
And it came to pass before he had done speaking that behold, Rebekah came out, who was born to Bethuel, son of Milcah, the wife of Nahor, Abraham's brother, with her pitcher upon her shoulder.
Mm-hmm. So now he see beautiful young Rachel, right? I mean, beautiful young Rebecca, read.
And the damsel was very fair to look upon.
Beautiful.
A virgin, neither had any man known her.
Mm-hmm.
And she went down to the well and filled her pitcher and came up.
Mm-hmm.
And the servant ran to meet her and said, let me, I pray thee, drink a little water of thy pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, drink, my lord. And she hasted and let down her pitcher upon her hand, and gave him drink. And when she had done giving him drink, she said, I will draw water for thy camels also, until they have done drinking.
So this is exactly what he prayed for. And it happened. Right? Read on.
And she hasted and emptied her pitcher into the trough, and ran again unto the well to draw water, and drew for all his camels.
Mm-hmm.
And the man wandering at her held his peace, to wit whether the Lord hath made his journey prosperous or not.
Right, so he's sitting there watching this, and he wondering like, yo, is this real? Is it really happening? Right, but read.
And it came to pass, as the camels had done drinking, that the man took a golden earring of half a shekel weight, and 2 bracelets for her hands of 10 shekels weight of gold, and said, whose daughter art thou? Tell me, I pray thee, is there room in thy father's house for us to lodge in?
Right, so now he's trying to find out who she is. He gave her jewelry and all that as thanks, you know what I mean? But he know that this is the one the Most High chose, right? Read on.
And she said unto him, I am the daughter of Bethuel, the son of Milcah, which she bare unto Nahor.
Mm-hmm.
She said moreover unto him, we have both straw and provender enough, and room to lodge in.
Right, so yeah, they got enough. They got everything they need for him and his camels to come stay there.
And the man bowed down his head and worshipped the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, blessed be the Lord, blessed be the most high power of my master Abraham.
He said, blessed be the Lord God of my master Abraham. Notice he ain't say my God. He ain't say my God. He said of my master, his master's God.
So he's a servant, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's a Shemite. He could be anything.
He could be a Shemite too. That don't make him. The Most High was dealing with Abraham. He knew that he was not. You know what I mean? He's not chosen of the Most High. He knew that.
Okay.
You feel what I'm saying? He definitely knew that. He knew that the Most High was dealing with Abraham. He said, the Lord God of my master, not my God, the Lord God of my master Abraham.
Abraham, right. I never noticed that before.
Because not all, remember, there's a whole lot of Shemites.
Right, not all of them.
I think Shem had the most children that became nations, and none of them is children of the Most High.
Right. I guess, I'm getting it gets kind of like, you get kind of lax. Like, when you be on the line, you see, is your father from here? You'd be like, most likely you're Judah, most likely, you're Loyal. Right. One of these things. And I keep forgetting, there's not as many people on the earth. At this point. There's not as many people on the earth at this point in time. So there's only so many people chosen. And there's only this one blood lineage, and there's only so many people there right now. There's not as many as like countless like stars in the sky yet. There's not there yet. So sometimes I forget that just because they're a Shemite doesn't mean anything.
Right. Most High already had that chosen lineage, and people for the most part knew that. Like even when it came to Noah, remember Noah had his 3 sons. He said, "Blessed be the Lord God of Shem." He knew the Most High was dealing with him and Shem, that he wasn't dealing with Japheth and Ham. You know what I mean? And that passed down with each son a specific lineage that the Most High was dealing with.
Come on.
Read on.
Who hath not left destitute my master of his mercy and his truth. I, being in the way of the Lord, led me to the house of my master's brethren. And the damsel ran and told them of her mother's house these things. And Rebekah had a brother, his name was Laban. And Laban ran out unto the man, unto the well.
Right.
And it came to pass, when he saw the earring and bracelets upon his sister's hand, and when he heard the words of Rebekah his sister, saying, Thus spake the man unto me, that he came unto the man. And behold, he stood by the camels at the well, and he said, Come in, thou blessed of the Lord. Wherefore standest thou without? For I have prepared the house and room for the camels.
Right. So he went out there, he seen what he's doing, what he's saying. They know it's a servant of their family. You know what I mean? So he's like, yo, come on in. Right, read on.
And the man came into the house, and he ungirded his camels, and gave straw and provender for the camels, and water to wash his feet, and the man's feet that were with him. And there was set meat before him to eat. But he said, I will not eat until I have told mine errand. And he said, Speak on. And he said, I am Abraham's servant, and the Lord hath blessed my master greatly, and he is become great, and he hath given him flocks and herds, and silver and gold, and menservants and maidservants, and camels and asses. And Sarah, my master's wife, bare a son to my master, when she was old, and unto him hath he given all that he hath.
Right.
And my master made me swear, saying, Thou shalt not take a wife to my son of the daughters of the Canaanites, in whose land I dwell.
Right, so he breaking everything down to them. Said Sarah gave birth at an old age. Abraham said, promise, don't take no daughter from the Canaanites. Right, read on.
But thou shalt go into thy father's house, and to my kindred, and take a wife unto my son. And I said unto my master, Peradventure, the woman will not follow me. And he said unto me, The Lord before whom I walk will send his angel with thee, and prosper thy way. And thou shalt take a wife from my son of my kindred, and of my father's house. Then shalt thou be clear from this my oath, when thou comest to my kindred. And if they give not thee one, thou shalt be clear from my oath. And I came this day unto the well, and said, O Lord, God of my master, Abraham, if now thou do prosper my way which I go, behold, I stand by the well of water, and it shall come to pass that when the virgin cometh forth to draw water, and I say to her, Give me, I pray thee, a little water of thy pitcher to drink. And she say to me, Both drink thou, and I will also draw for thy camels. Let the same be the woman whom the Lord hath appointed out for my master's son.
Again, we're just re-going over everything we just already read, pretty much, right? Read.
And before I had speaking in my heart, behold, Rebekah came forth with her pitcher on her shoulders. And she went down unto the well and drew water, and said unto her, Let me drink, I pray thee. And she made haste, and let down her pitcher from her shoulder, and said, Drink, and I will give thy camels drink also. I drank, and she made the camels drink also. And I asked her and said, Whose daughter art thou? And she said, The daughter of Bethuel, Nahor's son, whom Milcah bare unto him.
Mm-hmm.
And I put the earring upon her face and the bracelets upon her hands. And I bowed down my head and worshipped the Lord, and blessed the Lord God of my master Abraham, which had led me in the right way to take my master's brother's daughters unto his son.
Mm-hmm.
And now, if ye will deal kindly and truly with my master, tell me, and if not, tell me, that I may turn to the right hand or to the left.
So he's like, yeah, so let me know what y'all gonna do, so I know what I'm gonna do from there.
Then Laban and Bethuel answered and said, The thing proceeded from the Lord. We cannot speak unto thee bad or good.
So he like, yo, they coming from a righteous family, yo, this is the Most High's doing. Like, we ain't coming in between that, right? Read.
Behold, Rebekah is before thee. Take her and go, and let her be thy master's son's wife, as the Lord hath spoken.
Mm-hmm.
And it came to pass that when Abraham's servant heard their words, he worshipped the Lord, bowing himself to the earth.
Mm-hmm.
And the servant brought forth jewels of silver and jewels of gold and raiment, and gave them to Rebekah. He gave also to her brother and to her mother precious things.
Right, came bringing gifts, a dowry basically. Right, read on.
And they did eat and drink, he and the men that were with him, and tarried all night. And they rose in the morning, and he said, Send me away unto my master. And her brother and her mother said, Let the damsel abide with us a few days, at the least 10.
Mm-hmm.
After that she shall go.
Yes, I want to get their farewells in because this is a spontaneous thing. So they want to get their farewells in. And it's like, yo, let us stay at least 10 days and she'll go. Right?
And he said unto them, Hinder me not, seeing the Lord hath proposed my way.
Prospered.
Prospered my way. Send me away that I may go to my master.
So he didn't want to wait. He didn't want to chance nothing. He like, yo, the Most High sent him. He prospered his way. Like, let me get back to my master because I know he's waiting on me. Remember,
this is why.
Huh?
This is why I felt it was like the oil in the lamps, because like a lot of the time when we come into the truth, we kind of want that 10 days to tell everybody bye. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, I know, let me go smoke this last J with my man, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm really about to do this. Or, you know what I'm saying? Look, I'm gonna call this chick one last time, spend the night, you know what I'm saying? And in the morning, right, you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna get on my shit. And it's just kind of like, no. The Lord gave me an opportunity. I heard him right now. I need to go right this minute.
Right. Because I feel you. That's actually very good. I agree with that. And a lot of people do that. For me to actually put that with this, I can't do it.
Right. I get you. That's just what I got out of it when I read it a long time ago. I'm looking at that like, oh, the Lord calls you. You need to go right this minute. He sent a servant. He sent Christ here. He told you a message. It's time for you to go right this minute because we don't have time to tarry, because it's the last days. But all right, I feel you. That's just okay.
That's a fact, though. That's good. That was good.
And he said unto them, Hinder me not, seeing the Lord hath prospered my way. Send me away that I may go to my master. And they said, We will call the damsel and inquire at her mouth.
Mm-hmm. So they left it up to. They want her to stay a while, so they left it up to her.
And they called Rebekah and said unto her, Wilt thou go with this man? And she said, I will go.
Yeah, so they asked her. She said, yeah, I'll go.
And they sent away Rebekah, their sister, and her nurse, and Abraham's servant, and his men.
Mm-hmm.
And they blessed Rebekah and said unto her, thou art our sister. Be thou the mother of thousands of millions, and let thy seed possess the gate of those which hate them.
Right. So that's a blessing for a woman to have thousands and millions of seed and lineage. And women nowadays talking about they don't want no children. But we see how they was doing. This is a blessing back then. Right? Be a mother of thousands of millions. Let thy seed possess the gates of those which hate them. Right? But read on.
And they blessed Rebekah and said unto her, did I skip something?
The verse 61.
Oh. Okay. And Rebekah arose and her damsel, and they rode unto the camels and followed the man. And the servant took Rebekah and went his way.
Mm-hmm.
And Isaac came from the way of the well Lahai Roy, for he dwelt in the south country. And Isaac went out to meditate in the field at the eventide.
Right, evening, basically.
And he lifted up his eyes and saw, and behold, the camels were coming.
Mm-hmm.
And Rebekah lifted up her eyes, and when she saw Isaac, she lighted off the camel.
Now with them two, it's beautiful. It's like some love at first sight thing.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, she lighted off her kid as soon as she seen him. Like, oh, who is this?
Yeah.
Right?
For she had said unto the servant, what man is this that walketh in the field to meet us? And the servant had said, it is my master. Therefore she took a veil and covered herself.
Mm-hmm.
And the servant told Isaac all things that he had done. And then Isaac brought her into his mother Sarah's tent and took Rebekah, and she became his wife. And he loved her, and Isaac was comforted after his mother's death.
Yeah, so he took her in his mother's tent, laid with her. She became his wife. Wasn't no ring there. Wasn't no marriage contract. They had an agreement, of course. Wasn't no marriage contract that certain people talk about. It wasn't no priest or pastor there. It was just him and his wife coming together. That consummation makes you married. Even when you look at it today, you look at the laws of marriage today. Everybody try to say, oh, you got to have a ceremony to get married and sign that paper. But if you don't have sex with that person, you're not married. That was never consummated. That sex is what makes y'all married. That sex is that bond. You feel what I'm saying? That's when y'all come together and become man and wife. You know what I mean? Everybody got that? You got any questions,
Listen, so because I couldn't ask during the elders class, right?
Uh-huh.
So for the educational purposes of the video, right? So when I came into the truth, you know what I'm saying? It was like a long while, and then I moved over here to where I'm at, and I kind of messed up a few times, as though we all do. Though I will give you that there are four incidences. 3 of them I didn't know that sex is marriage, but that last one I did. Mm-hmm. That last one I did. Now I knew I had messed up. So there's been a few occasions and instances where I've gone to try to talk to her and be like, look, this is who I am. This is what I'm doing. And she's like, yeah, but I'm spiritual. You guys know all the stuff, right?
Right.
But and then like when I'm almost dying of the COVID here, she came, she brought me groceries, she brought me a whole bunch. I didn't ask her to do any of these things. And then watching the video, watching the elder today, is like, hey, listen, if this woman wants to take care of you, then you should probably give her credence for that. She's not always going to be as receptive to the word because you're the one that was called. And so now I'm wondering to myself, like if I left her alone and she went and did her things because I went and left her alone. Now I don't know whether I'm in the right or the wrong. Should I go back and try to deal with this woman or not?
Here's the thing. You don't necessarily have to because y'all already split up. You feel what I'm saying? Y'all split up. Most likely she dealt with somebody else or whatever.
She's already said that. She's already said that. So that's a given. She said that.
Okay, yeah. And you the one who left her alone?
Well, yeah. Because I'm like, that she was off, she was on one, you know what I'm saying? I've seen worse, obviously, but like Yeah, I kind of just went my own way because I wasn't really sure. I'm 42 years old. I'm not trying to raise some 10-year-old kid. Her kid is off the meat rack. Like I wasn't trying to deal with all that.
Well, I
So
can tell you this: you was wrong in that, and you already know that, though.
right,
You was wrong in that situation, but she already went off and been with somebody else. You don't necessarily have to try to get her back. Now, you never actually gave her a bill of divorce, too. So the whole way you divorced her wasn't even a real divorce. You just left her alone.
right.
So if you did want to go back and get her, you could, but you don't have to. And if she don't want to keep these laws, I would suggest you not even try.
Okay, that was my
Cool
next
and try
question
to
that about to
teach her,
come out of my mouth.
huh?
Well, I mean, because here you see they really stuck to Esau here, and like her whole thing is, what I'm saying, like she like to go to like because she's in the weed industry here, you know what I'm saying, so like her and all of her best friends is some like white chick, you know what I'm saying, at the weed party, you know what I'm saying, like I can't do with all that, though she cares about me and all of that stuff, you know what I'm saying, as far as laws and
So
all
she
that, like
want to be with you.
yeah.
Okay. Here's the
And
thing: if she wants to be with you, all
she
right.
says something, and she says interesting things too. She'd be like, "I would be submissive to the right man." Certain things she says
Yeah, if
because
she wants to be with you, if she wants to be with you, like she never wanted it to end in the first place.
nah, she
Yeah,
didn't.
yeah, that's a little difficult. It might. It's again, it's gonna be up to you. Me personally, if by her saying certain things and saying stuff like that, she's gonna have to get in line. But me personally, I would probably would try to take her back. Just you know what I mean. But there's certain things she's gonna have to follow. There's certain things she's gonna
Right.
have to follow. Again, you don't have to put everything onto her.
Like when I first met her, I told her about dresses, and like now she's always trying to wear a dress to impress me and stuff. Like
Right. Yeah, you
I
don't gotta
explained to
force everything on her at one time, but she's gonna have to follow.
right. So
There's gonna
that's
be
what Recall
certain
said
things.
helped me a lot. He was like, "Hey, listen, if she's down with the dietary laws." You know what I'm saying? And I forgot the other two. I had to go back and watch the other two. But I was like, oh, okay. So he gave me kind of like a line. Like a line, like here's this line. If she's above that line, she's willing to do that, then maybe you should deal with her, especially if she's on your line. And surely I'm gonna tell you, Recall, when I'm sitting over here dying, ain't nobody else do anything. She came over here, she brought me whatever, she was in the room with me, she left and everything. Nothing popped off. But she did. That's the other thing. She came up here and did all this and I didn't do anything that,
Oh, you know what? We still recording too. You want me to cut this
Well,
off?
no, no, because there was a real issue. There might have been somebody watching who had the same issue.
Nah.
That's why I brought it up. That's why I started. It was like it might have been educational just to bring that up.
You read that scripture I had put in the chat?
I did. As soon,
Okay, and you seen Benjamin put it in after me, and Rakai wound up reading it at the end.
Right, yeah,
Now
absolutely.
it's up to you. Again, you know the situation better than I do. From what you're telling me, if she wanted to be with me, I ended it. She wanted to be with me. She's not with nobody right now, correct?
I'm sure she talks to whoever
You
because
gotta find her out.
actually, her words that this is nobody really wants to stay with me or be with me. This is why I speak to multiple people. That was her actual.
Right. Well, she gonna have to stop that right away. If she's actually dealing with somebody like this so-called a relationship or something, I wouldn't push the issue at all. You know what I mean? She gonna have to work that out. But if she's single, she gonna then y'all could work it out.
She loyal too. I don't,
Yeah.
yeah.
She
She
gonna have
has
to
a
get
hate.
right. She gonna have to get right. You know what I mean? But
I'll investigate it more. I'll investigate it more.
Yeah, there's certain things like me personally. Yeah, if I'm like, yo, listen, if we gonna work this out, of course you can't be dealing with nobody. And there's certain things that you're gonna have to follow. You're gonna have to follow. Everything else we'll work on later on, but there's certain things she's gonna have to follow.
And then so certain things, that's what I'm trying to get a grasp on. What is that? Where's that line where I can be like, I can't
Well,
deal with that.
it's on you. What can you deal with? Me personally, I can't have no woman eating unclean foods. I can't have her breaking the Sabbath. You know what I mean? As far as like the dress and all that, the clothes, I wouldn't stress that too much. Later on, that would change. That could change, especially if she's trying to be submissive. She gonna listen. You got to be submissive. So if she gonna be submissive, she gonna wind up listening to everything you say in the first place. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah,
Got to
true.
be submissive. Put that out there first. Like, yo, you can't be doing, you can't be eating this. You can't be, you know what I mean, defiling the Sabbath or, you know what I mean, worshiping other deities.
Because one of the
And
reasons I kind of walked off and was like, nah, it's like she was like, because she wanted to look like an Israelite and act like an Israelite in front of the congregation, and then like do something different outside of it. She was like, don't worry, when I'm in front of everybody, I can act like this, but outside of that, and I didn't want to. Nah, that's not how I was trying to.
Yeah, so it's it. Tate, you can put that out there, and that'd be our new contract. That'd be our new contract. Yo, this is how it's gonna go down. If you with it, we could be together. You know what I mean?
Not to interrupt the lesson, but there might be a lot of brothers dealing with that. Me being one of them,
That's a good question. That's a good question. People will be brothers definitely be dealing with situations like that. You know what I mean? Brothers definitely be dealing with situations like that. Yeah, that's it on that. Was that
yeah, that's all I had right there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's from the ball is in your court. Of course, the adultery was already committed. You know what I mean, on both of y'all. So y'all both got that on y'all. So it's up to you if you really want to take her back now, which it actually would be better to. I can't. Again, I don't know this girl, so I can't really say. It might be if she really wants to be with you and she could be submissive, then it might be better to take her back.
It depends. I see.
But yeah, that's something that you're gonna have to come up with. I would say pray and fast on it. See what the Most High tell you to do, and you definitely got to have that conversation with her. And yeah, you got to put everything up front, like they said during the courting stage. Man, it's supposed to be a lot of questions being asked. Like you really got to get to know each other. Got to know if this is what y'all want to do.
Even if she was good with all that other stuff, it's the Esau thing she has an issue with.
Huh?
It's the Esau thing she has an issue with. Like when she was young, she told me that when she was young, she tried to like wash the color off of her skin, like so like her aunt caught her and was like, it doesn't work that way. So she's always had. This is like from the age of 5 or 6, that means that you've always had some kind of I want to be joined my oppressors in your mind in some way, shape, or form. If you already doing that naturally, that was another concern of mine. Like it's a very muddy situation.
Going in and out right now. Wow. Say that again.
I was saying like when she was young, she tried to like wash the color off of her skin.
Right, I remember you saying that before.
Oh yeah, and it was just like, and I looked at that. I'm like, that's the spirit that you are from the beginning. Why would I try to develop or maybe change something that you already are? You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't. It's a very muddy situation. I don't really know. And Scripture tells us, strange women are a deep pit. Dig the pit I'm trying to climb out of. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. Yeah, but yeah, that definitely between. You have to work on that. Say your prayers, fast on that, and see what happens. And definitely have that conversation with her, see what she do from there. And we can chop up more about that. The last part, she was kind of going in and out. Okay. But yeah, we're gonna head out. We're gonna head out.
All right, man. I hope to see you, brothers, man, next month.
Say that again.
I said I hope to see you, brothers, next month, man. So I can get out, man.
Yeah, you was able to see my screen the whole time?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know what my thing is doing right now.
It's still recording. It's still recording up here.
All right.
What's up, man?
Shalom. Shalom.
Shalom. Shalom.